true. And I think one of you guys mentioned that in your point is that it feels you're unlearning the fact that getting money is hard because all you grow up ever seeing is people struggling. We are hustling. In fact, that word hustle, sometimes I'm just like, it has such a negative
not in my
connotation to me.
vocabulary.
Yeah. Hi guys, Murugi Muni here.
It's Lydia KM.
And we're back again with another episode of
The Messy In Between. It's definitely TMI. I hope you sing with us.
I hope so.
Guys.
Do you think the fact that we've done 88 episodes or 89 episodes means that we have done this intro only 88 times?
Definitely no.
Yeah.
Because
all
right now
the
we just did
one,
take two.
There was a time we did like take.
What was happening that day?
I don't know.
The intro, I think it was, we had taken a long break.
No, that was when Beryl had told us, please put a gap between when someone else says something and you say something. Yeah.
Impossible. You see, even as you talk, it's like, as Joanne is finished, there I am.
Exactly.
There
you just have to add. So there's no gap. There's no gap. Exactly.
Gap for what? Gap for what? Karibuni, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Messy In Between podcast, aka TMI Podcast KE. Here we have honest conversations about life as it is. And for
messy.
Messy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Life as it is.
Here we have conversations about...
That again?
Here we have honest conversations about life as it is.
Messy.
That's it.
Thank
That's
you.
it. So if you are anyone who's like over 18 to, I don't even know, until you figure life out, you feel like you figured life out, then you're not in the messy in between. But for most of us, we are still there trying to figure out whether it's womanhood, whether it's singlehood, whether it's parenting, whether it's working. We are all trying to figure it out, and we do it as a community. And being part of a community means what? Subscribing.
Please,
so if you're watching on
yeah.
YouTube, if you're listening to any podcast platform, please subscribe. This is part of the way we get like our statistics up, is the way we get more clients to be able to facilitate this whole machine that you're seeing.
Yeah.
Behind you are people. They need to be paid.
And there are cameras
Support
and there are lights.
these families.
Cameras,
Support them by subscribing. Thank you so much, guys. Also, don't forget to follow us on social media. Murugi Muni, Lydia KM, and TMI Podcast KE.
Thank you, babe. So last episode, guys, we started talking about things that we are unlearning, beliefs, values, principles, a way of doing things, a way of thinking. And we started that conversation, but we didn't feel like we had exhausted it 100%. Like, you guys had sent us so much feedback on the things that you guys are unlearning, and we didn't get to finish that in the last episode. I know if it was up to you guys, you'd have like a 3-hour episode. But why are we making an episode as long as a Tom Cruise movie? It's not making...
We're doing
sense.
our best.
We are doing our best, guys.
If this episode ends up being an hour and a half, forget
take
everything we said.
Yeah, forget. Actually, we should have said this at the end because we don't know.
We never know
what's going to happen.
Know.
Yeah. And especially when it's like something we are so passionate about.
Yeah.
Which is like,
it's like,
a
why
lot of
should
the
we
topics.
stop here?
And this is our platform.
Why?
We can literally talk here for 5 hours. Nobody can say anything.
But we're doing our best to
to
keep it like 50 minutes max. 15 minutes.
Exactly, thereabout. Because we also want you guys to be able to watch till the end. And your lunch break is only an hour long.
I know.
So, we are trying to meet you halfway. Yeah. So basically, we're going to be continuing that conversation. I have some points that I had not like exhausted completely, but we'll also be reading some of the ones. Sorry.
Sorry, thanks.
I'm so sorry. Why is sneezing so ladylike and coughing is not? You know, everyone
Have you ever heard me sneeze?
Achoo! Oh, that's not how you sound.
Oh dear, no. Oh yeah, mine is like, come one, she's sneezing.
Coughing just sounds like you're so sick, It just sounds
it's
somebody's
done
sick.
because it's breathing. It's like your breathing isn't doing well. It's so
You're
sick.
not okay.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's not
Sneezing is
great.
just like, there's some light dust in the
cute.
room, whatever. Exactly. Yeah, anyway, let's get into this. You start this time because I started last time.
Okay, one of mine, actually, let me say one of mine. One of the things that I am unlearning is that hard work is not the only way to get money. And the older I get and see how so many people are wealthy, and I can't even see how they worked hard, like, or where their hard work was. Because I guess, I don't know if it's the African context, it's just very blood, sweat, and tears, go hard. It's constant working, it's constant overworking, it's constant doing, like, what you're resting.
It's constantly
What is
draining.
happening?
Yeah.
Everything is about that. And then we've kind of related wealth to like the blood, sweat, and tears. And of course, as we always talk about, if you want something, go out and work for it. But there are many ways that wealth comes in like an easier way. most of the wealthy people are people who have done more investing, or the people who, it's more working smart than working hard.
Like people who have created an app, and now the app, now they're just living off the
and it might have been
proceeds of
hard
that.
work initially, but it's not like the dog slavery we're doing, so I've realized that there's ways to work around building wealth that have nothing to do with me physically being the one who's there putting in the work, doing all of the work. I've also found like so much power in delegating, because it's not just from your own work, from your own hands. If you delegate, you can be like in a way better position to even expand than when it's just you. Exactly. It's also something it's that this is also something which I'm including in resting. I saw a post that said, we know so many women who are like super achievers, really hard work, but we don't know women who are resting. It's not your mom, it's not your auntie, it's not your grandma, it's not any of them. You don't know a woman who is a rester.
Oh my God.
Yep, neither do I.
You know what I
Neither
think?
do
Yeah,
I.
I know. As you speak, I feel like that concept is based in the fact that in the African culture or context, people's money or wealth or work or even survival was based off of working in the farms.
Yeah.
So literally, literal physical hard work was required. Like you had to be there in the farm. And the more you're there doing that, the more you're getting.
Yeah.
The more often you're out there plowing the land, the more you're getting. So I feel like based off of that, even our parents' generation, which is probably the first where it's like you're professionals, but it was still ingrained in them. You have to leave in the morning. You have to be working till close to midnight. You need to be not getting enough sleep. If you're getting enough sleep, you're doing something wrong.
Doing something wrong.
There's something that you're not doing right, which other people are doing. And then even all these, sometimes there's a bit of a toxic mentality around these, like people who are billionaires wake up at 5 a.m. While if you want to have more, you need to be willing to be up longer. You need to be working longer hours, which honestly is not true. And I think one of you guys mentioned that in your point is that it feels you're unlearning the fact that getting money is hard, because all you grow up ever seeing is people struggling. We are hustling. In fact, that word hustle, sometimes I'm just like, it has such a negative
not in my
connotation to me.
vocabulary.
It's just like we are hustling, we are struggling, whatever. Even the word struggle, it's just like it doesn't have to be that way. And maybe it's been like that, maybe in your family and like in the past, but it doesn't mean that has to be your story for sure.
100%. And I think being a content creator, already I feel like that redefines what hard work looks like, not because we don't work hard, but it's because of having so much freedom of my time. Like that is something which I've started to believe is what more wealth is. Because if you have so much money and you can't pause to go on a holiday, and I can, that's what I care about. That's what freedom feels like to me. If you have all of this money, but you don't have enough time for your kids or your family or yourself or time to rest and sleep in, that to me no longer resonates as wealth. So I've started to think about what wealth looks like, how building wealth looks like, and it's not also solely on like, my knuckles bleeding and sweating.
Exactly.
And
because ultimately, what's the point?
What is the point?
Yeah, I feel like for me, I would rather the thought of I have enough, so I'm comfortable, I have enough, but I have the freedom of my time or whatever, vis-a-vis I'm spending all my time working and saying in your head that, okay, I'm trying to build something for my children in the future, when all your children really want is just for you to come home and play hide and seek.
It's true.
Really.
And spend time with each other.
And
I'm
spend time
definitely redefining like how that looks like, and also seeing other people who are just like, they are super wealthy, and it's like, it just seems like they made a few smart investments and now they're chilling.
Exactly.
Versus the person who is like out there like digging in and stuff like that. But I've got to say as well, there's a bit of a disclaimer on this one. I feel like I'm past that intense phase. So maybe you need to pass it yourself. Because I know maybe I wouldn't have resonated with that way of thinking when I was trying to get myself like more stabilized. Then it was just like, go. What? Why do you put it back on loud?
Because
we're here.
Zach was going to call me and I didn't want to miss his call.
You always have your phone.
You guys can understand that,
you always
right?
have your
guys?
phone up.
Can't you guys understand?
You don't need it to be on loud. It's right there.
Why
you feel it.
Me, I'm so sorry.
So unnecessary. The person who always has her phone, she needs it. She needs to hear it. It's here.
Because what if I went to like Susu?
Where you go
Zach
with your phone? I see you.
You're right. What if I'm wiping? Huh? What if I'm wiping and Zach calls?
It will be right there. How long is it taking you to wipe? Anyway.
What were we saying?
What was I saying?
I don't even know.
I don't know, something about smart investments. Anyway, hard work is not the only way to get money.
That's the period.
That's the end
exactly,
of that.
yeah. And also the concept, for me, addition, one of the points is that even conceptualizing what hard work means.
Yeah.
And I find this interesting because my kids are always asking me, like, sometimes I'll be at home, like I'm on the couch and I'm on my phone and I tell them I'm working, but then they can't conceptualize because they're just like, dad goes to work. Like he goes in the morning, he comes back in the evening. So for them, when I'm just on my phone, they're just like, mommy, you're just on your phone. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm working, you know, kind of thing.
My
And-
church doesn't get it either. Trying to explain to her that I work on Instagram, it's like, what?
Yeah, same as my mom-in-law. But I love that my kids are being able to see that there are different ways of working. There are different ways of acquiring wealth. You know, it's like somebody can go out a whole day. Maybe can put up a post and earn 60K, and somebody else can go out and toil the whole day and maybe still earn that same 60K. But there are different ways of arriving at that
very
place.
different. Yeah.
And I love that they'll be able to get that concept of like, I can be with you here, but I'm still earning money even as I'm here with you.
I agree.
You know?
Yes, that's the way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, something else that I'm having to unlearn is the concept that you grow up, you pick one thing that you're good at, you're going to become an expert at, and you do just that for the rest of your life.
For sure.
For the rest of your life. The other day, I met this doctor in hospital. He's a neurosurgeon, and he is like maybe late 50s, let me say late 50s. And then he was telling me that he's in law school right now. He's a neurosurgeon. Literally, he's not just an ordinary doctor. He's not just a surgeon. He's a neurosurgeon, which is like, isn't that the doctorest doctor you can possibly be?
Honestly.
And then I was like, but why would you be in law school? And he's like, it's because he's looking forward to retiring. But when he retires, he wants to be able to do work like being a mediator, you know, do work like, I don't know, consulting and things like that. And I was like, wow, literally at your age of almost 60, you can decide to reinvent yourself. You can be like, I've done this thing, I've enjoyed it, I've made money, but now I want to do this other thing. And like the idea that we are fed that it's like you choose one thing and that's the one that you do and you die with it. And it's like, that is what defines you. It's just not true. That's just not true.
no.
You can be good at more than one thing. You can make money from more than one thing. You can pivot at whatever point you decide to. Of course, as my mom always says, first you make the choices, then the choices make you. So depending on what you have chosen earlier in life, it does limit to some extent what you can choose to do later in life. But ultimately, the best thing about being an adult is you can literally choose to do whatever the fuck you want to do. You could come tomorrow and say, you know, I've decided I don't want to be a content creator anymore. I want to go back and continue law, and that's what I want to do. I want to be a lawyer.
I want to be a farmer.
Oh, you want to be a farmer?
Yeah.
Or you want to be a lawyer, a content creator, and a farmer.
Why
and
not?
you can.
Why not?
Exactly.
Yeah, I
we-
agree with that.
yeah.
And it's definitely a very old way of thinking that, you know, once you do your degree on something, that's it. That's all you are. Absolutely no.
Yeah.
And obviously we can confess we are living proof of
Testimonies of
that,
that,
and
yeah.
there's so many other people who have that. My mom went back to uni and now she's working as a counselor. She trained as a teacher and it's something that she loved so much.
Yeah.
She changed her work because of like how England is set up. It's not like how she didn't have as much help and stuff like that. But then when she was like, do you know what? I feel like I'm somebody who should be working as a counselor. She just went back to school. Yeah.
Yeah.
She just went back to school. She graduated at 55 years old.
Exactly.
Now she's working as a counselor.
I
She
love
loves it.
that. And to some extent, there's a level of privilege that comes with that, like, or that enables that. But it's, I feel like,
100%.
but I also feel like it's a privilege that you can kind of like create for yourself, because if you work smarter and harder, I guess when you're younger, you can afford yourself as many opportunities as possible. There are people who are currently working as CEOs and they have gone back to school to learn, I don't know, business or to do social media or whatever. So I feel like you need to be able to make smart choices that enable you to change your mind later in life.
Yeah.
You know?
And also sometimes it's just selecting what suffering you're seeking.
Oh,
For
girl, yeah.
example, I'll seek the suffering of like starting a new career and that awkward stage when you haven't leveled and maybe you won't have as much income coming in. Maybe you won't feel as stable as whatever. But then when that levels up, you have the freedom that you want. So it's really up to you which suffering
you're willing to endure. Yeah.
Exactly. So this one is from one of you guys, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. So she said that one thing that she is unlearning is that it is possible to learn somebody else's child as your own. It will never happen.
And I think she I don't know if she meant learn or love,
Love, I guess.
because it makes more sense if it's if it's love. Like, it's impossible to love someone as your own.
I am somebody who's open to adopting for sure. I always feel like that's a big part of what I would like to do. not necessarily just adopt, even if it's both, but I've always felt like it would be so good to give love to a child who maybe their parents were unable to, or didn't want to, or are unwilling, whatever the case may be. So I actually disagree. I know a lot of people who are adopted and their parents love them like, oh my goodness, 100% like their own.
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, if anything, sometimes even you can find that they love them more because of the fact that they tried to have their own children and were unable to,
yeah.
and then choose to have these other kids.
Yeah.
Also, being in a home where I have firsthand experienced the love that my husband has for my son,
Right.
who is not his biological son. I feel like, I mean, I definitely feel like there's some added dynamics, but love, the question of love, I would never ever
I don't think
dispute
so.
that.
But
I would
that
never
might be
dispute
your
that.
personal limit. You can say
Yeah.
that what you are learning is that you can't love somebody else's child as your own.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair point. That's
valid.
very subjective. But in general, I definitely disagree for sure. I know even people who aren't necessarily like my parents themselves. Like I feel like my auntie loves me like my
Auntie
mom for
darling.
sure. Auntie darling.
Yeah.
She loves me way like definitely like my parent. Definitely like my parents. So yeah, I disagree with that one.
Yeah. But it's valid
It's
for
valid
you
if that's how you
if that's
feel,
how
yeah.
you feel. This next one is from someone who sent it in, and it's related somewhat to something you had said in the last episode about like our parents don't know what they're doing, didn't know what they were doing then. So someone says that they are unlearning that all advice from people older than them is valid. Some of these people also don't know what they are doing, which I'm just like, well, I mean, that's true.
That's a fact.
That's a fact, actually.
That's a fact.
Please.
I
Yeah.
feel there's like a place of age where not everything from an adult makes sense to me anymore.
Yeah.
Because now I have the mental bandwidth to be like, what does that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And actually, I think that's a wonderful part if you have a good relationship with a parent, because I have an amazing relationship with my mom. So that has really expanded our relationship because she's so open to hearing my point of view. And she's always comes to me. And actually, when she comes to me for advice and I tell her something, she's always like, that's why I come to you, Lydia, because you're so smart. You always give me great points.
You are so smart.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah,
but my
jeez.
mom says that because now, obviously, to her, I'm still her child. But it's great for her to hear a point that maybe she would not have thought of herself.
Yeah.
So absolutely,
Exactly.
not everything people older than me say
Definitely.
makes sense.
And I think, again, like African culture and context is so problematic in so many ways. That idea we were brought up with of just like, if someone is older than you, listen to them. That's not what we are trying to encourage. And actually, thinking like that breeds children being taken advantage of. Because if you have taught your kids that just because any person, man or woman who comes into this house and tells you to do anything, you need to do it because they're older than you,
Yeah.
even if you know that what they are doing is wrong, what they are saying is wrong, you have to listen to them.
Problematic.
It's so problematic.
It
and
is.
allows people to take advantage of children or younger people because they'll just be like, oh, they're older than me, so they must know what they're doing.
Yeah.
No, they are just humans, just normal people, just
Yeah.
like you and I. And that's why we even say that the messy in between can be you can be as old as 60 and you're watching this because you're still trying to figure things out. We all are. And
Yeah.
that's perfectly fine.
It's true. And another thing that it breeds is that the generations are more likely to be the same because nobody is questioning what came before them.
Yes.
Whereas if you empower the
yeah.
younger generation to question what they're seeing, question. And if your way is valid, they're going to go your way. But if they're allowed to question it so that they can determine if there's a better way of doing things. Otherwise, we regurgitate the same thing over and over and over again. And we see that we are not making as much progress as we possibly can as a human race or as a culture.
Yeah, so
yeah.
true.
Another one. Okay, so another one was. That's it. Take something that you're unlearning is that taking care of yourself and putting your well-being first is not selfish. I feel like for women, we have been trained that it's everybody else and then you come somewhere at the end. We are probably the first generation who, as women, we feel like prioritizing myself actually means I can be here for every single person in a way better way than if I am the last one. And I feel like it's still a struggle. It's still a struggle because it's so ingrained in us, because you see that. For example, what I find is like I can do my self-care and I can do all of that, but I can do that when I have the freedom of my time. But if I have a lot going on, that is still going to go last.
Yeah.
whether I like it or not, that's gonna feel like that's not as important. There's all these other things, but we're unlearning them. We're
know.
definitely unlearning them.
I don't feel like I struggle with that now. Like
Yeah.
I don't even, maybe when my kids were like really young, like maybe when Tana was 1 and Kenny was 3, I feel like I might have struggled with that a bit. But right now I don't. I literally move everything around to make sure that
Yeah.
I will be able to go to the salon, that I'll be able to get my nails done, I'll be able to take a nap, I'll be able to sit and crochet. Literally, I will move my whole life around. And it's because I've realized that. I've realized that I can't put anyone's oxygen mask on when I'm drowning.
Yeah.
Impossible.
Work.
You can't. Yeah, there's work, there's your family, there's in-laws, there's what, your husband is gone, like your kids, you need to drop everyone in school, change everyone. No, I'm just like, I feel like what enables me to be able to do all those things is me being okay.
Yeah.
When I'm not okay, then I'm not able to do anything.
Yeah, I guess because I feel like I can go long enough being pretty okay. I see that I don't do as much fueling as I can. If you follow me, you probably are like, what are you talking about, Lydia?
And not maintenance, because see, there's a difference between maintenance and active self-care. Doing your hair, you have to do your hair. You need to do your nails.
Yeah,
you know, kind of
those
thing.
are
But
maintenance.
what is like actual, like I'm going out of my way to treat myself well.
Yeah. So for example, like let's say today is a shoot day, right? And yesterday was also a shoot day. I prioritize like sleeping in, which I guess is self-care, to having like the stable morning, which I usually have, where I'll have like my meditation and my affirmation, and I'll journal and I'll read. That one was pushed in a back burner because I'm working, right? So maybe what I try and do now is like I say there's not, I won't let like 3-4 days go by without it, because sometimes I realize whether I like it or not, sometimes I'll have to shift what self-care looks like to be able to accommodate my routine.
I get that.
But yeah, we are working on it.
You're working on it,
for
right?
sure.
Also, this year, I feel like, remember last year, there was a time we had a conversation about like what activity do we each do, which is just for fun,
For nothing,
just
yeah.
for you, for
We've
nothing.
done it.
We've both done it.
We've
I
done it.
started crocheting, and when I crochet, I feel like it just allows me to just switch off and just be peaceful and calm
Meditation
and just
for real.
just focusing on this seemingly menial task, but it just feels so nice.
Yeah.
With you for swimming,
Yeah.
it's nothing you're earning money from. It's not like
Nothing.
you're trying to achieve. It's just like you're just swimming.
I just swimming, and I love it
Yeah.
so
And I
much.
love that for
Yeah.
you.
Another thing I want to add is painting. That is a pure doing nothing as well, because like technically with swimming is a bit of learning.
Yeah.
It is learning, to be
Yeah.
honest. So, but painting is another thing which I could add to that list, which is just like do nothing.
And this
like,
bitch
it's just
is
for
so
joy.
good at painting. like unbelievably good. When you see the thing that she has painted, I look at her, I'm like, is it you?
It's me.
Is it you? At
It's
Tana's
I.
birthday, she painted a whole masterpiece.
Yeah, I
You're really
love
good at
painting so much. It's another thing that you feel like you get lost and you're in the colors and you're not thinking about anything else, and
Yeah.
it feels so good. So actually, this is March. By 1st of April, I'll have everything that I need to get. I actually was supposed to send a text to Jules. I'm gonna send to her right now. Go on
About
to
painting.
ask her where I can get the things like the canvases, the brushes, the paints, so that I can be doing like a Sunday after church
chill,
activity.
having a nice little cider or whatever.
I'll be such a Pisces.
You're such-
Painting on a Sunday.
Oh, I love it. But now this is the problem with content creators. Are you just painting, or are you like, okay, now I need to set up the camera somewhere so that I can video and what? Thinking about the angle.
Okay,
the
so we don't want to
content.
do too much of it. Like
Yeah.
there's some element that might be that,
Yeah.
but there should be predominantly it is about just doing it, because you share your crocheting journey,
Yeah, but it's not
you're
like-
just sharing
Yeah,
the
exactly,
journey.
yeah.
So it needs to have more of just you doing it.
Yeah, exactly. I love that for you. All the best. I'll keep reminding you. Have you asked Jules where to get the things that you
Yeah,
need?
thanks.
Exactly. Okay. Another thing that I've been unlearning is an authoritarian, aggressive way of parenting, which is the way that many of us were raised. And I was talking about this on my Instagram the other day, and trying to embrace a more gentle approach to parenting. So I feel like, I don't know if this is so much unlearning, because I feel like gentleness has, like, it feels like it's something that has come naturally to me. Just like when I got the kids, I was just like, why would anyone want to beat children? Why would anyone want to be mean to children, kind of thing? But just keeping, like, at the back of my mind, there's always like the way we were raised of like, you're a child, don't talk when I'm talking, don't talk when adults are in the room, don't do this, don't ask questions. If I've said we're going here, not kind of like taking their feedback. And I feel like the more I've thought about how we were raised, and nothing against our parents, because as we've said, they were just doing what they could do, and they were just learning from what their parents had done. But I love that in our generation, a lot of us are unlearning that way of parenting, parenting because it doesn't work and it is unkind and it's not what helps a child develop healthily in a healthy way. So I'm embracing a more gentle form of parenting, one that validates my child's emotions, one that recognizes that they are human beings just the same way someone is a human being. So if I would not yell in Lydia's face, why am I yelling in my child's face?
Yeah, 100%. And as Joe said as well in that conversation, you should go on her page,
There's a highlight about
Murugi.
it,
There's
yes.
a highlight.
A highlight
I
on parenting.
loved that conversation because as a former child, I constantly want to have those kind of conversations, but I'm childless, so I don't want to be putting myself in a position to be talking about actively doing something which actually I'm not doing in real life. So I loved that you took a forefront in that conversation, and I think it's amazing and it's wonderful. And the way Joe said it is that it's gentle in that I'm validating and I'm seeing them as a human being. I have empathy, but I also teach them structure and boundaries and all of these things. So if you just heard that half and now you're uproared, relax. There's
Chill.
also the boundaries and the structure because kids they thrive in that.
Boundaries and structure, facts,
One of the most difficult parts, I guess, for people to understand and people to conceptualize this way of parenting is because their ego is at play. It feels good when you bully somebody who can't say anything back. It feels good like your boss has shouted at you. You can't shout back at your boss, but you can shout at your kid. So because your ego is so at play, it's very difficult to detach yourself from something that soothes your ego, you know? And I feel like a lot of the, do as I say, beating and super aggressive and authoritarian kind of parenting is just a different way of bullying. A lot of us, our first bullies were our parents. The first person who told you you're not good enough, the first person who taught you that physical violence was an all right way to communicate.
It's like,
was your
don't
parents.
beat people, but there are some certain circumstances where beating is allowed
I
and
can
violence.
beat you and violence, So there's many ways we can heal ourselves by doing different in our generation. I feel like I may be overly gentle.
Yeah.
Wait
for the kids to come.
Wait for the kids to come. But there's something that, because of wanting to be so tender, because I've seen the consequences of maybe not having parents who are as emotionally aware as I am. I feel like, you parent from like this empathy, like,
exactly.
Like you're reparenting yourself. Actually, that's what Tebby said.
Heal your inner child.
That's what Tebby said.
Child.
Tebby said that she's she's
reparenting herself.
Yeah,
by parenting Sage.
And that makes so much sense to me as far as how parenting is. You're a great parent. I've never heard you say anything that I was just like, that's unacceptable and mean and cruel. Actually, there's time we were talking about content creation, and Joe said that she doesn't share any content which might kind of put her kids in like an embarrassing or a vulnerable way, and that's like how you treat your friends. You're not gonna put up the picture which I look like awkward
and you're crying,
and yet you can do something that makes your kids feel like embarrassed or sad. And I thought that was such a dignified way of seeing your parents. My mom always treated us like we were adults somehow, in that you have the same value as anybody else in the room.
Human, yes.
Yeah, and if that's how you're doing it, your kids might just be like me, if not better.
That would be lovely, but
if
you did go
better.
through a phase. Even though you were treated nicely, but you still went through a phase.
Yeah, but look who was the dad.
Okay. Is this all his fault?
It's not. It's
I don't know,
not.
we don't know
Many
if it's all
things.
his
And then
fault,
also being like the first generation of being an African child in a Western environment. Oh yeah.
It must
go
have
to
been
therapy about that,
something
sweetheart.
else,
Another thing you are unlearning is not airing my thoughts and agreeing with everyone makes me cool. Not anymore.
People pleasers. So here, let me tell you guys a story. There's someone, a member of our team, I'm not going to mention what her name is, but there's a day, and I won't say which day this was.
What?
She went to a nail salon and she got her nails done. She got her nails done for many hours and she didn't like them, but she didn't have the heart to tell the person. And she went, and now, as we are sitting here, she doesn't have the nails. So I mean, we won't say what team member. It could even be Paul. We don't know. It could be anyone.
Paul.
Yeah, it could be anyone.
Remove those shoes, we see that pedicure.
Yeah. No, I was telling her she's the president of the people pleasers community. I'm probably the vice president, but we are struggling. Many of us are struggling, and as this person has said, that's something a lot of us need to unlearn. A lot of us need to unlearn.
And also, I feel like part of people pleasing is like, I have the least demands, so I'm the most palatable. I'm the one who's easiest to be around because I demand nothing.
Exactly.
Why do you demand nothing?
And then in some situations, it's like, I can either choose for that person to be unhappy or me to be unhappy. You're always choosing yourself to be the unhappy
Kate
one.
said, I'll choose you.
Yeah, I'll choose
and
you.
that changed the game, especially when it comes not about being cruel, as I've said. If a situation where I feel like I don't want to do that thing, but you want me to do that thing. But if I tell you that I don't want you, I don't want you.
I don't want to do that
I don't want to do that thing. You're going to feel bad.
Yeah. But you're feeling
if
bad.
I do it, I'm going to feel bad. I choose you.
I choose you. I choose you. And but it's the reason, I know the reason why a lot of people don't do that is because now you make them feel bad and then you end up feeling bad for making them feel bad.
Breathe through the guilt. Breathe through the guilt. In, out of your nose, out through your mouth. 5 times, you're fine. And guess what? You teach yourself that you matter in your life more than anybody else. Why does somebody else matter more than you? Discuss in therapy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And then that concept of like, I'm going to be the cool person because I don't need much.
Yeah.
That's
so
sad. That needs to be discussed in therapy. It's because like, why do you feel like you have to earn your position in that group or whatever? Like you have to be likable for them to want you to be around.
Yeah, because you didn't feel like you were likable enough when you were yourself. Because we just talked about parenting that sometimes is not as validating, is not as affirming. So you learn that there's something wrong with you. So you go everywhere trying to mute who you really are, your wants and your needs, secondary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone else gave one which was similar to that, and she said that she's unlearning the belief that I need to prove my worth to be loved. So you need to prove, like, why am I loving you? Why am I loving you? Prove to me that you deserve to be loved, as opposed to like you just exist as Lydia and therefore you deserve to be loved.
Yeah.
Simple as that. There really is no more to that. And this feeling the need to like, I need to prove my worth. Are you wife material? Are you girlfriend material?
And when
whatever.
people ask me what you bring to the table, are you serious? And also, somebody asked me, like, somebody messaged me. They were like, I know that, women are always looking for what they want, but I feel like there's a reluctance for women to look at themselves. Are you what someone is looking for and all of these things? Like, show someone what you are offering. I'm like, what? In this day and age, I am not showing a man what I'm offering. I'm going to show you who I am.
Yeah.
And you decide if that's enough for your table. And also, even for a man, I don't think that's the approach either.
Exactly.
Show me who you are and I decide if that matters, because what you think I'm looking for might be nowhere near. You might be trying to tell me how you're kind and everything, and I'm looking for money.
Which we are. We are looking for money.
So who cares? So it's not about really trying to show somebody what you are offering. It's about showing who you are. Yeah. And then the other person gets to decide.
In fact, I always feel like if I'm ever in a room where I'm struggling to be like, I want them to know that I deserve to be here. Already I feel like red flag. Red flag, Murugi, take a back seat and relax. Already the fact that you've been invited to be in this place means that somebody somewhere feels like she deserves to be here. Yeah. Why are you fighting tooth and nail to show how much you deserve to be there? Just be. Yeah. Just relax.
Yeah. Another thing that I'm unlearning is that men are human. Oh, no, sorry.
Unlearning that men. Yeah, that's
another thing I'm learning is that men are not human. And let me explain what I mean by that. So I am doing on my page, this was like now, by the time you're
reading. There's this one here which is just sticking up. I don't know. I hope it's not being seen in the camera.
Was it in the camera?
Okay.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So let me explain why. So by the time you're listening to this or watching this, it's like maybe 2 weeks ago, I was doing the friendship theme on my affirmation pages, my stories, and we're talking about friendship, all of the dynamics. And when I was reading some of the feedback, majority of the times it came to be people are so easy to drop their friends. Like just anyhow, when a friend makes a mistake, they're out, whereas with romantic partners, they get like 155 million chances, right? Yeah. But I'm the complete opposite. I actually realized that.
With friends?
Yeah. I am more likely to forgive a friend.
Yeah.
Because for me, I feel like my friends are just such unique, special specimen. It's like, where am I finding another you?
I know, that's the
we'll
thing.
figure it out.
Exactly.
Go be upset
Yeah,
for
it's
a
okay.
while.
You
I'll
slept
be
with
upset.
my man. I'm very
It's
angry.
fine. That's
let's talk
annoying.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Let's discuss it. Let's discuss it.
And then at the next shoot,
At the
day.
next shoot, we just move on. You know, because it just
Yeah.
feels like friends are just, I don't know, I feel like friends are the closest thing to God.
Yeah.
So they're just, you know, I treasure my friends so much. So I'm way more open to their humanities, and, you know, I'm way more likely to forgive a friend. Cross me once.
As a man.
Cross me once. And that I know has a lot to do with my daddy issues. Like, I'm not able to humanize what I really had never built a relationship with. Being that I never really had like a relationship growing up with my dad, then it's like what your idea of relationships with men is a bit of, you're making it up kind of as you go.
Like how do women relate with these people?
You know, you're just kind of figuring it out.
Yeah.
And one of the things is like taking them, you put them on a pedestal, which is like a problem in you when you're relating to them. But it's also a problem when they fall off that pedestal. Because like, oh, snap, you're human, yuck. And it makes sense that that's actually something which I'm working to unlearn, because my life is rich of incredible friends. Where's your boyfriend?
Where is your...
Where's your boyfriend?
Me,
and I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that, but I struggle with forgiveness.
With men, Yeah.
I struggle with forgiveness.
Me, I feel like for me, and probably like the majority of people, men are incredibly human, almost too human, to the extent that when men make mistakes, you're more likely to like forgive them, because it's just like, it's just like, I mean, this sometimes it's just like, that's a dumb thing, but like it makes sense that you would do that. So, you know, kind of thing. Yeah, I don't understand, because I definitely am on this other extreme.
Really?
I definitely am on this other extreme. It's just like you're expected to do dumb things sometimes, you know.
And you know what?
And society tells you that.
And I think it might be from the same thing. So like my idealizing men coming from a place of, because I didn't have that, let's say, that strong relationship with my dad, I wasn't able to relate with men, could be the reason for you. If you've seen your dad mess up, it's just like, that's your expectation.
Seen my dad mess up a billion times and still he's allowed to be part of the family structure. For me, it was just like, okay, it's kind of like an accepted thing. That's just how he acts. That's just what he does. And so it's like, I mean, we get used to it, kind of thing. Saying it out loud. You know, sometimes you say things out loud, you're like, you're messed up. You're not okay. You're not okay. You're not okay.
To what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That is, for me, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like, I don't know if I expect perfection. I don't know if I expect like, or it's like being hurt. It's so hard for me to open up my heart to someone who's hurt me like that. But I feel like friends are more likely. I know. And the other extreme is that if you're always expecting men to mess up, that means that when they just act the bare minimum, you feel so grateful. Oh, Jesus, is Lord. He's got a text at 5 p.m. twice in a week. 2 times. Oh, God. That's the problem. Yeah. And both of those are really, really toxic and dangerous in so many different ways. This is also toxic as well, because the truth is, in a long-lasting relationship, you're going to experience someone's humanity in so many forms. So to be able to deny that someone the ability to be human and to make mistakes and things like that, and everyone has their boundaries. You decide what mistakes you're going to take. I decide mine. But it's difficult, it's difficult, but I find that I am more open, even to be able to have this awareness about this, is because I am so much more in tune with my own humanity. I'm more accepting of my weaknesses. I'm more accepting of my vulnerabilities. So when I'm thinking about another person, now I'm trying to humanize a man so that I can see it's like, you have the same struggles as me. You do. Yeah, exactly. But why do you have the same struggles? I feel like the same way I think about men like that, like superhuman, they can make mistakes. I feel that way about friends as well, and even like colleagues, even at work. I feel like I kind of like expect mistakes to happen. I expect imperfection, but now the problem is that sometimes I feel like
I expect that the world will expect it from me as well and extend me grace when I make mistakes and when I'm imperfect. So when I'm not met with that, it can be really painful. And I think one of the points someone else made was that they are unlearning that just because you're a good person or you extend grace, that you forgive, that whatever, just because you're that doesn't mean that the world is going to be that to you.
Oh, that's the truth.
Yeah, because I feel like sometimes I felt like, especially like sometimes you go on social media and I'm getting cancelled for something or hate for something, and I'm just like, you people, you're always making mistakes, left, right, center. You've been sleeping with someone else. You've been trolling someone else's page. You've been doing what? Like, people make mistakes all the time, and then I feel like the universe. Haven't you seen how many people are forgiven? How come when it's my turn, people are not just easily forgiving? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, adulting is learning that just because I'm kind to Lydia doesn't mean that Lydia is going to be kind to me. Because her being kind to me is 100% dependent not on what I have done. It's just dependent on the kind of person that Lydia is.
Yeah.
And sometimes that has nothing to do with you.
It's
Absolutely
true.
nothing to do with you.
It's true.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I also, because of not accepting the humanity that comes with being a human being, especially for maybe like a man per se, and not because I'm not aware they're there, it's true. However, I find that I also have a very keen standard for myself to be like careful with people. And I feel like that's actually what aggravates me most when somebody is not careful with me, because I intentionally, like, I think very keenly before I'm hurtful to someone, the way I use my words to people in general. So then now that's why when you make a stupid mistake, I'm just like,
What's wrong with you?
As who?
What's wrong with
As
you?
who? Sometimes
Yeah.
it just seems like you're just being reckless. And
Yeah.
that recklessness means it's like, I can't trust you to hold my heart if you're being reckless.
No. Recognizing that other people don't think the way you think, don't act the way you act, won't respond the way you would respond. Recognizing that is a really difficult part of adulting.
Oh my God,
So
me, that's the
difficult.
hardest one for me.
And then and the amount of times I feel like I've had a fight with Zach and I've said something like, I wouldn't do that to you. And he can respond with just like, but I'm not you.
Yeah.
And
But it's like,
sometimes
why?
but
Why aren't you?
This is the reasonable
This
way
is
to
why.
think, kind of thing, But that expectation that people will reason the way you reason, that they'll act the way that you would act in a certain situation, it doesn't work
It's
that way.
punishment for you. It's you're punishing yourself.
Honestly,
Yeah.
honestly, and there's something we learned in...
I'm working on that, though.
Exactly. There's something we learned in church. I don't even know if it's related to this, but when we're doing our premarital counseling, they were telling us that you're not... like respectful to your husband because he deserves respect. You're respectful to him because you are a respectable person.
Yeah.
And you're not kind to others because they deserve your kindness. You're kind to them just because you're a kind person. So determine your behavior, your actions, your words based on who you are as opposed to what you'll expect from the world. Because the world can give you a whole bunch of shit.
Yeah.
But is that going to change who you are?
It's
You
true.
have to decide.
For sure.
Yeah.
I've always treated people from a place of who I am, because I promise you, the standards out here might be beneath what you're capable of. Because if I treat you as you are, I'm going to act like someone who I'm not.
Exactly.
And now what's the point?
Yeah.
But that's something I'm definitely working on. I'm expanding my view of like what it means like to give space for the humanity of somebody else in a relationship, and to actually be like, if you want a long-lasting relationship, are you willing to forgive some really big fuck-ups?
Ask yourself.
Ask yourself. Yeah.
You ask.
So you say you want one, but are you willing?
Are you willing to? Or we hope, whenever we pray for some things, we just hope that it'll come mostly just the good parts and not so much the bad parts.
But whenever has anything been like that? Even anything that you love so much. I love content creation. I love TMI.
Yeah.
Today I really was like, who's coming to that shoot?
Why?
So there's gonna be parts that are difficult in any scenario. So yeah.
Yeah, that can be tough. Something else we need to unlearn as like human beings is the belief in karma. The belief that I personally do not believe in karma.
Sometimes you go in and out of that, because sometimes you
I know.
yeah,
but now
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I know. I feel like there's something in the universe that does, I feel, make things right, but not all the time. Like the belief that somebody wronged you and now their life is magically going to become horrible, and now they are going to get poor, and now they'll die or
I don't
whatever.
know if that's karma,
not
though.
necessarily.
I feel like karma is like the energy you're putting out will come back to you one way or another.
As a general phrase, yes.
Yes, I think that's it. But this idea that you broke my heart, so now you're going to be poor and no one will love you. Relax. He's going to thrive
be so
and marry a
happy.
baddie who loves him to death, who loves him to death.
And their kids will be so cute too.
Yeah,
Their
I know.
kids will be so
I
cute.
don't know what once you post someone on social media, then everyone, all your stuff is mixed.
Yeah.
And I know, like maybe like a few months ago or something, a few people had messaged me like, "Oh, how do you feel that your ex has moved on?" or something along those lines, right? And I was. It seemed they were like, is it hard? But I was like, do you think I have the concept that once I leave someone, they're going to go and die and be miserable? I don't have that. I have the concept that if we didn't align, you will find who aligns with you, as I will find someone who aligns with me. So I don't have the... It's not necessarily that that's going to feel good, or depending on how long you guys have broken up, it's going to be triggering.
Yeah.
But the idea that once someone leaves you, somehow their life shouldn't be as good as it was with you, I personally let that go. And God showed me very well with one of my exes who, as soon as we broke up, started thriving.
3 seconds later.
3 seconds later. So that idea is... You've got to let it go.
Yeah, that's the problem. But also, me, I have a problem with people on social media. So now, when you message Lydia something like that, it's like, what's the intention? Because
Of
that's
course it's
something Lydia would not even have seen. She should not even have understood, whatever, nothing. But someone is writing to you, so like showing like concern. Like,
no, but
how
it's
does this
not.
make you feel?
But it's not concern, and I know that you're messaging me because you
want
want
to
it to be
elicit a
triggering.
reaction,
You
yeah.
want to elicit a reaction. You want whatever it is that's going on with you. You want to give me a slice of that because it's not a normal thing at all to message anyone, even if someone who I know. I wouldn't be like, if I knew that your ex has moved on, I wouldn't tell you, or I wouldn't come and share with you. Mind you, what you think you're seeing on social media, you have no idea.
You have no clue. You know nothing. You know nothing.
But yeah, it's social media. I've accepted that now, that this is part and parcel of what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
Something else that I feel like a lot of us need to unlearn, and also me, I guess, to some extent, is the idea that you have to be close with your family members. That you have to be close, that you have to be tight, that you have to be talking to them all the time, that you guys have to live your lives now in adulthood together. Just not true. Just not true. And I feel like there's an unrealistic expectation that we grow up with of just like, these are the people who are going to be coming to your Rurasho. These are the people who are going to be visiting your kids and do what will they, kind of thing. There are family members who I'm really close to, the ones who, as we've grown up, we've aligned more of. And for some reason, they're mostly on my dad's side of the family. My mom's side of the family, we are not as close. Like, there's no like enmity or anything like that. We're just not close. Like, it's
That's
just
so interesting.
Yeah, I know it's the opposite for you. Yeah, but for us, we're just not close. And for me, it's like realizing that actually it's okay, because now when you grow up, people are living their own lives. Everyone is being an adult, people are doing their own thing, and you don't have to be close with everyone. Not every person's child warming or whatever people do, or a show that you have to be invited, not even at the attend. You have to be invited, and sometimes it's okay. Like, you're not going to be somewhere saying, "Oh my God, she didn't invite me." No, you're not close. Why are you being invited?
It's fine, yeah. I know that for sure, and I live that. I decided a long time ago that family was going to be the family members who are willing to be active participants in a healthy relationship. Those are the family members who I'm going to have a relationship with. So to impose a relationship on you just because my dad and your dad are brothers, my mom and your mom are sisters, I mean, it's just... Why? I'm not going to impose that on anyone, because having a relationship and nurturing a healthy relationship takes a bit of effort. And if you're not willing to do that, if you do not have the inspiration to do that, as far as I'm concerned, I release you. And please release me when it's my turn, because I don't want to be in forced relationship either. And that's where animosity comes in. That's where resentment comes in. That's why you're bickering. But if you really just stayed away from each other, you would have way more peace.
You don't have to be tight with every cousin. There can be cousins who we are in a group together and we laugh. Then there are other cousins who you only meet at family gatherings once a year.
There's some you don't talk to and you never will.
That's it. Oh,
it's life.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, you never will, and that's the end, and it's done. Somebody also said that I'm unlearning that blood is thicker than water. It's like blood is as thick as it wants to be, as I choose it to be. It's as thick as I want it to be. Another one, someone is saying, one thing I'm unlearning is that time doesn't heal. Repeated actions towards healing over time does. 100%. Because why?
Repeated? Just read that part again.
Repeated actions towards healing over time does. That's what does the healing. And this happens all the time. Actually, one of the most frequent messages I was getting, like post in my healing time, was time heals. I'm like, who told you? Who told you? Because if time heals, our childhood traumas wouldn't make any sense.
They wouldn't.
They would be done.
Yeah.
Why are we still in therapy? Because it doesn't. It doesn't heal. What time does is allow whatever has happened to you to sink deeper into you. And now it's affecting you in an unconscious way.
Yeah.
There's pain that's on the surface, and then there's pain that's
below the surface.
Pain below. So the actions are the ones that are going to get to the pain below. And that's why I'm always advocating for therapy. Because if you have something that's affecting the way you see people, the way you see men, like how I just said that I'm learning that men are human.
There you go.
Go to therapy. Go deal with whatever you need to deal with, or speak to someone, or read books. It's the action that's going to do the healing, not the time.
Not the time. I definitely feel like time makes it easier to live with the pain that has been caused. So it's like if it's a breakup, which you're not actually healing from. So it's like you're able to do other things, but the pain is just there.
It's
there
even
somewhere. Same as with grief, I guess. It's just like the longer somebody is gone, it doesn't mean that now I'm like, now I've healed from the fact that they are no longer alive, because different things will happen that will trigger you. There's literally like, it'll be their birthday, it'll be the anniversary of their death. You'll pass a certain shop and you'll smell the perfume they used to have, and the pain will feel like it literally was just yesterday. Literally just yesterday. So it's more of just in the subconscious, but it's still there. But definitely repetitive action towards the healing.
We need to kill that. Time heals.
Please, it does not. Here's something that I have had to unlearn in adulthood, is that sex is only over when the man has ejaculated.
Yes.
In all porns, in all I don't know, any movies, anything. Sex finishes when your man has come. And if he hasn't, even if you have come, whether or not, yours is irrelevant. Yours actually is just, it's a good to have. It's certainly good. It's effort. Yeah, exactly. It's like great that you were able to get there. But it's like, that's not the focal point. The focal point is we are all here in this bed trying to achieve one objective, which is him ejaculating.
Yeah.
And that's just not true. That is just not true. And learning to prioritize your own pleasure in bed, learning to be in a position where you're just like, you want to achieve that O as much as he wants to achieve the O, and you guys getting there together, or at least even if it's at different times, but you guys both getting there. That's the objective, not just one person.
100%. And we know how we're talking about, like, the sex with the headboard and all of these things. I'm going through this.
Yeah. For
you, for an objective about you. This needs to be tied.
Oh,
sorry. Yeah, it's just no. It's just it makes you not like sex as much as you should like sex. At the very least, even if you feel like him ejaculating ends it, at least make sure that you have something. Like let's stop making, like, it's for us to bridge the orgasm gap. It's us who are going to do it. It's nobody else.
Exactly.
If you are not going to participate, if you're not going to make your pleasure your priority, if you're not going to be open about what you feel good about, it's going to stay the same.
I love that phrase, the orgasm gap. It just sounds like a book waiting to happen. The O gap. Wow. Don't sleep on that one. Don't sleep on that one. But yeah, it's up to us to do that. And it's like, it's not every single time that me personally, that I have sex that I'm like, I have to orgasm. But it's like, it's not going to be on the back burner every single time.
No.
Sometimes it's my turn to enjoy. Sometimes it's you. Sometimes, and majority of the time, it should be us.
Both
we
of
are
us.
all there to enjoy. We all want to, have fun. So, I mean, why is it only you coming?
No, absolutely no. That's a good
Absolutely
one. That
not.
one should be somewhere.
Top of the...
Another thing, maybe let me do 3. We just pass if you have an opinion. So another thing that you're learning is poverty mindset. Mwanamke ni kuvumilia, and debt is bad. I unlearned actually that debt is bad. I don't know who I was talking to. It was somebody who was like affluent, and they were talking about how, I've got this loan for this and this. And to me, I was just like,
Why? You have
Why?
money.
You have money, you know,
Yeah,
but he was
Zach
just like,
has taught me that too.
yeah, that's a big way of helping to build your wealth. The point, like debt, as long as it can be paid, is not a problem. It's actually one of the ways, which is like, if you don't want to obviously maybe start liquidating all your assets, or you are not that liquid at the moment, it's a great way to be able to build your wealth. I unlearned that maybe like a few years ago, so I don't see it as bad anymore.
Yeah.
Poverty mindset, I never lived there.
Someone says that they are unlearning that education is the key.
It's definitely not the key. We know that much.
I don't know. Okay, in some regards, I feel like I get where you're coming from, that without an education, you can't make it in life. That's obviously a fallacy. That education is the absolute key, that once you have an education, you can get wealth. That's obviously a fallacy. Right now, I think research has been done to show that way more people than who even have studied are being able to become millionaires or billionaires because of the internet, because of globalization, because of social media. A lot of people are able to get rich in many different ways. However, I feel like some level of education is definitely necessary for you to even be in a position to start having that wealth mindset, is what I think. Like,
so are we talking, okay, so let's say the bare minimum education is up to 18. So that's not the education we're talking about.
Yeah.
You legally have to do that.
Yeah.
We're talking about
higher
after
education. Higher education, I definitely feel is helpful. And I was having this conversation with Nelly the other day, and I was telling her it really wasn't about what I studied. It's the lessons that I learned in university. University is where you get the foundation of like friends, meeting friends, maintaining friendships in an adult kind of setting. It's almost like we are now adults. You learning about like money management, learning about like analysis, how to think, how to plan your time. For a lot of people, that's the first time that you're living on your own, the first time that you're like planning your schedule and whatnot. I feel like those softer skills are what I appreciate university for more than even education, so to speak.
Yeah,
you know?
I feel like my education mostly, I love the things that it taught me and the character building that it gave me.
The
Number
character
one,
building, yeah.
some of the things is just like pushing through. I know I say that all the time, but half the time in uni is like you're gonna have to push through. You don't want to do this lesson, you don't want to do this test, you don't want to study. There's some of those things that build your character. However, for example, in England you finish school at 16. So I've been earning since I was 16. So all those like, you know, money management and things like that, you would learn without having an education, let's say in that setting. Or let's say if someone who, for example, you help out in your family business, there's many ways you could. So for me, what I feel is like, I love that I'm educated. I like that. And I see what it did for me. However, I feel like it kind of stops there now.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're not, then you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I definitely don't feel like education takes anything away from anyone.
Doesn't.
I feel like it does in some regards, especially if you're not able to tap into other opportunities that are not education related. It gives you something. It gives you that something which you can be able to, because a lot of people who hire, especially in Africa, are still hung up on the need to have a degree, even though you are people who don't have degrees and they can do way better work.
Yeah.
But because of that, I feel like it does, like you don't want that to be your Achilles heel every time. It's just that you don't have a degree kind of thing.
And so, you've got to be smart.
You gotta be smart.
Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What are you about? Because if you want to be a lawyer, let me tell you, you have no choice.
You're gonna need
if you
to
want to
do
be
it,
a doctor, you don't have a choice. There are many things that education is just going to always be a part of it. It's just, you know, because before you're operating on my neck, my friend, I'll need you to have an education.
I'm going to need to see,
you know,
the
so there are some
certificate,
things you're never going to be able to get past. However, I feel like this idea of like the educated is the better, that one we're definitely out of that.
Definitely. But also there's the formal education which you'll get in a university or whatever, or a college. But there's also the informal education. Things that, I mean, we are always learning. I feel like I'm always learning on social media. The other day I took like some random course that came up as an ad on social media, and it was about social media. It was like something about like stories, something about algorithms, Google ads, things like that. Like just a short course. And I was like, that feels like that's education.
Yeah,
you know, it's not
it
a
is.
university, but I'm learning something. And I feel like people who make it far in life are constantly learning. You're never feeling like I know all I need to know. I am the best. I am the expert. You're always always like, what else? How else can I get better? What else can I learn? What else can I know?
I've learned so much. Like almost all of my wisdom personally, and all the information I know and the things I care about have come from books, from research. I live on Google. Every time I don't understand something, I go there, I research, I read articles. So we are in an age where education really is like, it's at the tip of our hands. Like you can educate yourself and you can get information about so many things right here on your phone. So you don't have to go. Yeah, you don't have to necessarily go to school.
So if you're not in a position to get like proper formal higher education, it's not like it's a death sentence. You absolutely can still be fucking rich.
Absolutely, and successful in so many other ways. The one I'm unlearning that mwanamke ni kuvumilia. Oh dear Lord, I don't think I've ever thought that. Considering what I said about forgiveness, I don't think I've ever learned that. And there's an element of, if you see your parents divorce and are alive after, you learn that divorce is not death. There's obvious
and especially
truth.
when you then get this really beautiful story like your mom got.
Yeah, and even before that, I saw that my mom looked like she was happier this way.
Yeah.
You know, it's like not to say that she liked that her marriage ended. She took a long time to heal that. Even that concept, knowing that what kind of generation she was from, it was difficult for her. But seeing that she felt like in control of her outcome, she was in control of her life and the things that she did, that is like showed me that why would you be vulnerable like nonsense for no reason? This is not to take away from the fact that there's going to be things in a long-standing relationship that are going to require a lot of digging deeper in more softer parts of you to be able to overcome. It's going to be a lot of work, just like how a relationship with yourself is. There's meditation, there's working out, there's therapy. It takes work. But that idea that I should be suffering in the hands of somebody else, to me, is just such a foreign concept.
Definitely. And I feel like that phrase sometimes is used in more than just relationships. It's also just like in life in general.
Oh God,
like whether it's at work, it's just like, just hang in there. You haven't gotten a raise or a promotion in 12 years. Yet your male counterpart came and in 6 months he was up. So you're just vulnerable. And I don't feel like, and then that, I feel like that concept, women who believe that concept, it's why you will see other women asking for help, delegating, asking for what they are worth, saying I deserve. Then you're triggered. You're just like, this woman is too much. Like, you're just being too much, kind of thing. But actually, are they being too much or are you being too little? Are you not being enough?
Are you
kind
enough?
of thing? Yeah. Mwanamke si kuvumilia.
It's
Please.
not.
Yeah. Actually, any form of discomfort or struggle, I am against it.
Yeah. So
personally.
here's the thing. Yeah, I accept that pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional. So it's like pain can come. Things are going to happen in life, in relationship, in your work, whatever. But suffering, me sitting in the pain and dwelling and sipping in it and bathing
and making it your whole personality.
and making it my
Your whole personality
personality
is suffering.
and lotioning myself with it.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that.
And then using that as a badge of honor for you to be able to say like, hey, me, I've endured for 12 years. What about you?
What about
hey,
you?
me, I've been enduring for 20 years. Hey,
Oh,
wow.
Suffering Olympics.
Hey,
Who's got the
come
gold
on.
medal?
It's
you. It's me. What are you doing?
No, let's not be those people.
Yeah.
I feel like our generation is the one which is going to change that idea. Babes out here are leaving men for the bare minimum. The bare...
I think we're going on this side. I think we
literally
may
was
be on this side.
He fell
Sweetheart.
asleep and he didn't answer
Han,
your call now. By the
we-
time he's back online, you're with your new man.
Have we even talked? Have we talked? Now you're in Ibiza with how many?
People are being sliced for the bare. Anyway, you know what? Let's and you see, it's because of all the years that we're told to suffer. Now we're on the other extreme. You will not suffer at all. Something that you have not chosen. No, thank you.
Yeah, I think let's not do that. And I feel like that comes with like empowering ourselves so that we have options.
Yeah.
I've definitely hit the mic there.
Yeah, it's okay.
That was the first one I did it, right?
What?
It was less loud.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm working it. Guys, apparently I hit the mic so much.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a conspiracy against me, but apparently
Leave
they
a
said...
blue love heart down below every time Lydia hits the mic. Let's do that. Let's get our comments up.
Yeah, I feel like when we empower ourselves, we give ourselves options. So you're able to do it. I know for sure that maybe my mom being able to leave the situation that she left was because she could earn and she could support us anyway, So the more we empower ourselves, the more we're in a position to have options so that we get to choose what we really want as opposed to what we are being offered.
What we are being offered,
Yeah.
which frequently is the bare fucking minimum.
The bar is where, as
bar is
Mulungi says,
in hell. Thank you and good night. Anyway, this conversation has been so amazing. I love when we're able to do episodes that have you guys' feedback, because then it didn't feel like we are just telling you. You guys are also opening up and telling us. So thank you so much to everyone who engages with us on social media and you guys sharing your feedback. It really, really, really helps us. This content, it's rich. It's rich because it's coming from so many different people's mouths and phones and fingers. So thank you guys so much for watching. We really hope you've enjoyed this mini series on unlearning. Remember, anytime you have any like content ideas you'd like for us to talk about, any topics, do let us know, guys. We are approaching episode 100 in like few episodes, which is so exciting.
100 episodes.
I remember one, like it was yesterday.
Remember when we were doing the little promo before, the episode
with our little outfits.
So
and
exciting.
I know.
Wow.
I'm really proud of us.
God is so good. God is so good. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. We're definitely gonna do something. What? We don't know.
Stop committing things. You see, this is what you do.
We're gonna do something huge.
Now, also us at episode 99, guys. So now, what to do? Hey.
We are, guys. We're going to do something amazing to celebrate your support, to celebrate us as a community, because honestly, we've built something amazing and it's only going to get better from here. Until the next episode, guys, make sure you're subscribed and we'll see you then. Bye.